we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
I could do a whole 49ers show right now.
Ready to rock out with my gavel out.
Oh yeah, baby!
Don't sleep on my Patriots email.
And we're ready for football. Is that
Joe Burrow with this wrist? I'm curious.
I find you guilty of all charges.
Although you consistent force in this
I used to develop some really great chemistry.
DJ Chuck Bass.
This guy has been doing it ever since coming off.
I hope you like the way I pimped
He's
you out.
made 4 targets in all 3 of his last games.
Scored a touchdown this year.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and you're waking up with TSS Fantasy.
the final year?
Championship weekend. It's sad to say, but might be the last time, other than the Super Bowl show, of course, you'll be seeing us here on Sunday mornings. We appreciate you waking up with us every Sunday morning. Let's get the intros going. Justin, I am Frozen Herrera. Welcome into the building, sir.
Well, can you hear me move now? Can you feel me move now? Am I doing it? Am I shaking on your screen?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can hear me, I just got one thing to say. You know, every time the season ends, it always ends, and we're always sad. But at least we can look forward to next year. OJ being a Commanders fan the entire season, and the intro not being with a Jets jersey and being with a Jaden McDaniels jersey.
Switching alliances in the offseason, indeed. Greg, OJ, the juice is loose mayor. Welcome in, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Listen, I'll always be a Jets fan at heart. Yes, they have a special place in my heart. But go Commanders, baby. Go Jaden Daniels. Let's get it, baby. Let's go.
Greg's been riding
Iron Man's a good hire, though. Iron Man's a good hire. Let's get it.
Greg's been hot. Greg has been on the Commanders train from early this season, so got to give him his props there. And here they are, championship weekend. Fred, the Jester Reyes, are you switching alliances too?
Absolutely not, man. I'm a Jets fan. Let's go. Thick and thin. I do want Kansas City Chiefs to win, but I'm always a Jets fan. Let's go.
Jets is here.
Let's go. To eat a Jet at hot, he says. All right, well, let's pay the bills one last time. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid, do us a solid, hit subscribe, give us a like, put a comment in there. Little things stopping you from doing it, big things popping for us when you do. We always appreciate that. If you're going to play some DFS, and not even just DFS, but you know, they do basketball, golf, they do every sport. So go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100. So go make some money today. We're going to give you some good prop bets to as well today. So something you can go on and make some money. And don't forget, looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion. Of course, look no further than Pro-Am belts. All right, well, we got championship weekend. We got the doc in the house. Let's hear about some injuries with Brian Scott brings us inside the medical tent.
A.J. Dillon just went into the medical tent a moment ago.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
How are we this morning? You know, again, not a whole lot. I felt like we really put you to work earlier in the season. Now it's just kind of the stress is relieved a bit. So not a ton of injuries, of course, but
no. That as you get toward the end of the season here and you get into the playoffs, you know, one win away from the Super Bowl, it's more about the quality versus quantity. And if you look at the 4 teams remaining, the Bills actually take the lead on this front because they have been healthy the entire year and nothing has really changed heading into this weekend with the exception of Taylor Rapp, their safety. He's out with a hip injury. Other than that, they don't really have anybody down, and they haven't had anybody down all year, which is amazing. And that's no fluke. I mean, that's why they're here, as the stats will show. 3 of the 4 teams currently in the mix right now have all been the least impacted by injuries throughout the entire season. They are all like within the top 7 teams that have had the least impact from injuries. And that means like players losing time, and not just the players and the number of games they've lost, but also impactful players who've lost time, which have caused loss of points. There's this website called Sports Information Solutions and they put out these cool stats. And if you look at the teams that were most impacted by injuries and points lost on both offensive and defensive side of the ball, any guesses as to who the team most impacted throughout the season was, fellas? Anybody want to throw some team names out?
Detroit.
That would be correct. Detroit, at one point in the playoffs, had 16 guys actually on IR, and they were the most impacted. Obviously, it was felt most on the defensive side of the ball for them. So no surprise that Aaron Glenn will get a head coaching job this year because he did a masterful job keeping that team glued together. The Commanders have a couple of guys out. Sam Cosmi, their guard, is out with a knee injury, and Darren Payne is out with a finger injury and a knee injury as well. Other than that, not too much going on with them, so they should be, like they have been all year, pretty healthy coming in. The Eagles are probably the biggest question mark, or one of the most concerning, because their quarterback there, Jalen Hurts, was dealing with a concussion the last 2 regular season games, then got banged up a little bit on his knee in the divisional round. He's been removed from all injury reports, but you have to wonder if there's not some lingering effects there. Apparently, with his knee, he is going to be playing with some type of brace on, so that could affect his mobility. That could be something to look out for. And the Chiefs basically have nobody. The thing about the Chiefs, which is amazing that they were in the top 7 or whatever it was for least impacted by injuries, is that all their injuries occurred very early in the year. So almost all their guys are back. And that's including like a guy like Mecole Hardman, who was thought to be lost for the entire season with season-ending knee surgery, and he's back too. So, the Chiefs' run of the luck here just continues. And as far as I know, there's no injury reports for the officials this weekend. So whether or not that goes in the Chiefs' favor, we'll have to see. Maybe some of them have some glaucoma or conjunctivitis in an eye. Maybe they'll miss a call or two. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. But that's
good
pretty
one,
much
Brian.
it on the injury front.
That was a good one, Brian. Good one. The Chiefs, indeed. I think you said it best when you said lucky. I mean, that's definitely a key word when it comes to the Chiefs. All right, my friend. Well, where else can we subscribe, follow, get all your great content?
At the Injured List Pod on X, and then, of course, the Injured List Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and the website, injuredlist.com, and, of course, TSS Fantasy. We'll probably do one more big show before the big game, and that's always a lot of fun. So hopefully everybody will tune in and check that out.
Indeed. Yep. Check us out, of course, Super Bowl Sunday morning. Brian will be here with us as well. All right, my brother, we'll have a great championship weekend. We'll talk soon. And we'll hear from our friends from NeuroGuard. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILPSports for 10% discount on your purchase.
All righty. Well, we got a weather report. It'll probably be as long as the intro. Let's get it.
It's time for the weather report.
All righty, big weather report today. We got 2 games to talk about. Washington at Philly was almost like the weather said, hey, you know what? I know it's championship weekend. Let me not be a big factor. 39 degrees in Philly today. Partly cloudy skies, winds at 10 miles an hour. No real big impact there. Buffalo at KC later on. It'll be 32 degrees, a little colder. Still partly cloudy and winds only 3 miles an hour. So we don't need to worry about the weather in this one. It is truly championship weekend, even with the weather. All right, well, we're waiting on Eric to give us some prop bets, but while we do that, let's help you make some money and give you some ultimate DFS lineups.
The power of the Ultimate Warrior.
All right, well, let's start with last week. And we did a little bit different this week for our jobber because I had the lowest in the points of the people that did it. But for the guy who didn't, that's the jobber of the week. Too busy on a damn cruise to send in his lineup. So let's get it right off the jump. Our jobber of the week. No lineup. You're the jobber, Fred. That's it. Bottom line. All right, let's go with the guy who did the worst with points, which was me. 111.7. Not too shabby, but Cooper and Hopkins with 0. Like, it's funny because all these veteran receivers did so well all year, all these older guys, but in the playoffs, non-existent. Nothing for either one of those clowns. I can't believe it. All right, let's go to the next guy. It's Justin, coming with 117 points. Obviously, Barkley was the big bell cow there. He had Hollywood Brown in, who also got 0, which is just craziness. Sam Laporta did well as well, so decent job there. Here comes our second runner-up. Greg, you were close to getting another one. Unfortunately, didn't get it. I needed to update your thing because you actually won 4 this year. That's my bad. You had the unfortunate with Hopkins as well with the 0. Good job with Bateman, Derrick Henry, and Commanders D was what really your Commanders D came through.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, my brother. Sorry, no fins up to talk about today. Makes me sad, but it is what it is. And our ultimate DFS champ for the season did it again last year. 129 points. Even with Hollywood Brown going out, but he had the good combo of Barkley and Henry. Terry also did well as well. So good job to our boy LeDuc. Let's go ahead and give it to him again, but hopefully for the final time.
And his name is John C.
LeDuc. He got we got to get a belt for this because he definitely deserves one. That was a good season for LeDuc. Cat for Life says today is the last day of multiple NFL games. I know, bro. It's a very sad day indeed. All right, let's get to it. We'll bring up LeDuc's championship lineup for this week. I like the combo of Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, threw in a little Austin Eckler in the mix there. He's got Goddard, got a lot of this Eagles game in here, but he does have the combo of Coleman and Allen. So that's his little stack for the Bills game. And Devonta Smith, and then threw in a little Zach Ertz, who's been showing up, in the playoffs. He's been showing up all year long. So good job by Zach Ertz, by the way. He should have been somebody else they consider for comeback player of the year because nobody was really thinking about him at all. All right, Greg, you're up, my brother. Let's talk about your ultimate DFS lineup.
Well, of course, I had to go with the homie Jaden Daniels at the quarterback position. Rookie of the year, probably the second best quarterback left in the playoffs. Saquon Barkley, of course, the man continues to eat and gain yardage, and I think that's going to be a hell of a game between him and the Commanders' defense. I went with Isaiah Pacheco. Last week we didn't see much of him. Kareem Hunt, got the touchdown, vultured that touchdown. But I think they're going to run the ball a lot more against Buffalo, so I think Pacheco's going to have a good day. And Amari Cooper, I went with. He can't go 2 days in a row in the playoffs with one target, right? So I think Josh Allen would look for him. to feed him against the Chiefs defense. Of course, Scary Terry. This man just all he does is score touchdowns. I'm going with him. Xavier Worthy, I like how the Chiefs use him in the offense. He's either going to run it, he's going to catch some passes, of course, but he's going to get the ball in his hands. Of course, you can't go without reliable Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes and Dalton Kincaid. I think he'll have a decent game. And, of course, the Chiefs defense against Buffalo. I know Josh Allen's been playing mistake-free football, but it's the conference championship. He's going to have at least one hiccup, and the Chiefs are going to, take advantage of that. So there goes my lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, you're talking about the defense, man. It was tough pickings, it's just you're sitting here looking at championship weekend and, 4 good teams going against each other. It's hard to find a defense in that mix for sure. Justin, what's your ultimate DFS lineup?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, so we're going to start out with Jaden Daniels. He's played well against Philly, even in losses this year. So they had 1 loss, 1 win. Both times he played extremely well. And after hearing about the VR set, he's officially my favorite quarterback now because that takes a lot to go out and spend $1 million to go get yourself a VR set to be a better quarterback. I like that initiative. Saquon Barkley is my lead back in this one because, once again, played really well in both games and is coming off an explosive game against the Rams. I think he really wants to put this on the back and straight to the Super Bowl. Ty Johnson, I think, is going to become a huge factor in this game for the Bills. He's been a huge factor in close games for them all year long. This will probably be the closest game of the season for them. I look for him to have another good game this week. Devontae Smith, it was just because I was kind of short on money and I wanted to put A.J. Brown in there, but I'll stick with Devonta Smith. I think somebody's going to have a big game for that Eagles wide receivers. Hollywood Brown, I'll keep on keeping my Hollywood Brown in there. Hopefully he starts to come alive. It's funny how he started doing good against the Texans during the regular season. Then he kind of just disappeared. And you're like, whoa, like, where'd you go? Why'd you leave so fast? Khalil Shakir has just been a consistent piece. He's every week he's 10 points. Gotta love those every week 10 points. Xavier Worthy. I think this team, the Chiefs, are going to need a little bit extra over the top to beat the Bills today. And I think Xavier Worthy is going to offer that. Travis Kelce, just keep on keeping on, man. Play every game like Taylor Swift is there, and you'll be fine. And my DFS lineup will be fine as well. And then the final, I'm going to go with the Commanders' defense. It was the cheapest defense out there. And, last week we saw Commanders' defense take down a really good offense. And, the whole reason that they came back and won the second game against the Eagles and almost won the first game was because their defense played well. So I'm going to go with it. Also, Jalen Hurts, whether he's on the injury report or not, is going to be limited because he's going to be wearing a big fucking brace. That's a big fucking target right there for any defender. I don't care what you say. Any defender is going to look at that and go, oh, okay, let's hit him at the fucking knee. Let's take this guy out. It's the NFC Championship game. You think these guys really are going to have, morals about this? No, they're going to go after this guy. And I don't blame them. I would do the fucking exact same thing. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Commanders' defense.
Yeah, I think even without the brace, you can expect the Commanders put pressure on Jalen. I mean, he's shown all season long this hesitancy to run, get out of the pocket, and make a play. He stands there a lot and ends up taking a sack half the time. So I would expect the Commanders definitely to get on Jalen today, especially with the knee issue. All right, here's my ultimate DFS lineup. So obviously, these are going to be quite similar, but I went with Josh Allen today. That's where I spent most of the money. KC, they're 21st against QBs, one of the worst ones of these 4 teams. So I just went with that. Obviously, going with Saquon for all the reasons everyone's already said. The Commanders 20th against fantasy running backs as well. So I like my odds there. I went opposite of Pacheco, went with Kareem Hunt. Kind of felt like when I was watching that game, Kareem looked better, which just seems odd to say. Maybe Pacheco's still not quite back from that injury, got his legs underneath him. Pretty cheap price, too, $5,400. And, I've been talking about all year, that's where the Bills, their Achilles heel is against fantasy running or against running back. So I like the play there. Terry, Scary, got to do it. Philly, tough D all the way around, and I actually went with De'Ami Brown as well. So we got two. I wanted two Commanders, even though the Philly D is that tough. My thought is the Eagles will get up. The Commanders need to throw themselves in it, so I think that's why I went with two receivers. Devonta Smith as well went with the Slim Reaper, 15th. The Commanders are against fantasy receivers, so let's see some plays made there. I went with Dawson Knox at the tight end. I was looking for a cheap option. KC is pretty soft against tight ends as well. They're 29th in the league. Kincaid has been kind of non-existent, and I feel like Dawson Knox is going to be one of those guys that you're like, you weren't expecting a touchdown from, and he ends up getting one. He always steps up big in the playoffs as well, so I like Dawson Knox as a play today. Travis Kelce, it's Travis Kelce. He's been stepping up big. Buffalo 17th against fantasy tight ends. And then I went Buffalo's D because, just had to pick something and was just like, bump it. I'm just going to pick whatever. All right, let's go with Fred's ultimate DFS lineup.
All right, peeps. It's been a while. So I guess I missed last week by accident. Totally forgot. Let me see. I went with Hurts. Let me start with this. I went with Barkley because obviously I think they have the easier path to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to dominate the Commanders today. Sorry, Greg. So I went with the Hurts AJ Brown combo with Barkley. So I went with the whole offense of the Eagles, followed by Brian Robinson Jr. Washington will have to do something. I did the same thing. I think I did the same thing that Mallard did. We both picked the Goddard Ertz combo at tight end. Saves us a little bit of money, and they're both decent tight ends. Hopkins and Worthy, I just had you got to pick, like you said, you're going to have things that are close together. I think Xavier Worthy is going to have a big day, not as much as Hopkins, but for 4,700, why not? And like I said, the Eagles at home, Washington's first time there, rookie quarterback. I think the Eagles are going to have a really good day today.
I agree, but we'll talk about that in a second. I think they are going to have a good day today. All right, well, there's some ultimate DFS lineups. Don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100, and then it's just double your money, and there you go. All right, well, Eric probably forgot this morning, so we're going to just keep it moving. Got a short show today, but before we get to our game day picks, let's hear from our boy, Andrew LeDuc. He's got some sophisticated DFS starts for you today, so let's check it out.
That's a cold ass honky.
Ooh, championship weekend sophistication station. That's right. We're getting down to it now. Final four teams. Big weekend. So when it comes to DFS, good luck. A lot of guys are going to be playing the same guys, so you got to find some gems. So let me help you out here. First of all, you got to have the top guy on your team if you want to win some money. So for that, for me, Josh Allen this week is going to be the guy. He's going to overcome the Chiefs, who have everything going in their favor every single week. Josh Allen's going to put that to rest, bring the Bills to the Super Bowl. So Josh Allen this week should be, if not the second highest quarterback of the week. So give me Josh Allen. I'm going to pair him with a wild card here. Any one of the Bills receivers can pop off for him. We'll see who gets the touchdown. I'm banking on Keon Coleman this weekend. Really, the only reason is, look, I'm shooting a shot. Money-wise, ownership-wise, I think Keon Coleman is the place where you can get the best edge. So Josh Allen, Keon Coleman. And then for the Commanders, the other team I'm hoping wins, Austin Eckler. He's looked good as a part of this offense now. They're using him more. He's got that experience. He's still got that explosiveness. It seems like not as much as we saw early in his career, but he's still got enough to where he should be able to rip off a play or two for these Commanders in a game that should be competitive with some points. So give me Josh Allen, give me Keon Coleman, and give me Austin Eckler, and you all stay classy.
Damn, that's a cold ass honky.
If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him.
Well, thank you, Andrew LeDuc, for your sophisticated starts this week. We'll, of course, see LeDuc out on our Super Bowl special as well. All right, guys, let's do it. It's championship weekend. Let's make our picks.
We're on a mission, guys. We're on a mission, guys.
All right, let's look at last week. Indeed. Oh, my. Look at that. Justin, Greg, and me at 3-1. Fred and LeDuc. Fred was still on his cruise when he made his picks, so he went 2-2. And LeDuc's got no excuse; he's there as well. So here's our playoffs overall. 7. Greg and Justin are in the lead. I'm 1 behind, and Fred and LeDuc are 2 behind. So let's see who ends up our playoff pick champion. Let's get to our picks for today. Let's start with the NFC Championship. The Commanders at the Eagles. The Commanders lead the overall series 90, 85, and 5. We know they split this year 26-18 for Philly, and the Commanders, without Jalen Hurts, won 36-33 later on in the season. What I found interesting looking up these stats is that these teams started playing back in 1947 or 37. I can't remember. It was one of the two. And they played only one time in the playoffs. Crazy enough. It was 1991, Mark Rippon versus Randall Cunningham, and the Commanders won 20-6 in that matchup. It was interesting because I was looking at the game stats too. Randall Cunningham had like about 200 yards in the air. He did have a pick, and then 80 on the ground. Just was not enough to beat Mark Rippon and the Commanders, well, the Redskins back then. Philly is favored in this one by 4.5. The over-under for this one is 48.5. Fred, who you like in this?
Hater.
Philly.
Hater.
Hater. Listen. Washington has the odds stacked against them. Rookie quarterback. They're just happy to be there. Had a nice season. If they lose, hey, it was still a great season. You're still building. Eagles, they have a star-studded team. They bought Barkley for a reason. They have to win at home. Eagles.
All right, Greg, I don't need to ask you who, but I want to know why. Why are the Commanders winning today?
Freddie, have you been watching the season that the Commanders are happy to be there? Jaden Daniels is not playing like a rookie, bro. That defense is not playing like a rookie defense. They got weapons. Terry Scary is what are Philly going to do against him? Brian Robinson's been running the ball. Eckler's been running the ball. Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback in this game. Jalen Hurts is hurt. He's one-legged. He has not been playing good the whole season. Look at A.J. Brown's reading books on the sidelines because he can't get the ball. Commanders. Easy. Let's go.
He said Commanders easy. What do you think, Justin?
I really want the Commanders to win this game. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't give a shit if I go 0-2 this week because if the other teams win, I'm going to be so happy. But for this one, because I'm in the lead, I've tuned into the logical part of my brain and not the absolute desire, want part of my brain, the logical part of my brain. Logical part of my brain says Philly had Jaden Daniels on the ropes until Kenny Pickett came into that game. And so I'm going to go with Philly on this one. I think Philly's going to win. I really want the Commanders to win. I really am a Commanders fan today, but I think Philly's going to win.
So I would agree with Greg that
you can't.
Not the overall agreement, but the agreement of right now, Jaden Daniels is playing better than Jalen Hurts. I agree. The difference, however, is that this Phillies defense has been playing way better all year long. You mentioned them running the football. They ain't running shit today, bro. It's going to be Eagles today. I don't know about easy. I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy win. I mean, we're in the NFC Championship. Both games were pretty decent, pretty close anyway. Even without Jalen Hurts, the Eagles were hanging with the Commanders. So no lone wolf for you today, though, however, because LeDuc agrees. He thinks
he's smart.
Upset is in the air, and he likes the Commanders as well. So let's see how this plays out. But, yeah, I do like the Eagles to come out victorious today. We'll see if it's an easy one or not.
You know Mary Jane told you to pick the Eagles. Stop playing.
No, I was picking them anyway.
Dude, they're 10-1 in the last 11 games.
Bro.
Come on, dude.
And
have you not been watching football?
I've been watching Barkley. That's what I've been watching.
Watch Jaden Daniels, rookie of the year.
He is good. But come on, man. That's too high of
expectations. Going to be the first rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl. I guarantee it, bro.
I do remember after the Commanders beat the Bears in that Hail Mary game, saying that they feel like a team of destiny. Man, here they are in the NFC Championship. So pretty crazy. But I think, of course, course, that ends today. All right, let's go to the AFC Championship on the other side. The Bills at the Chiefs. Bills lead overall series 30, 25-1. This was, of course, the Chiefs' only loss this year, 30-21 to the Bills. It's surprising because last week I heard Jim Nantz say how that was a close game this season. I don't remember that. I remember the Bills whooping their ass. I don't know why I have that in my brain, but I just feel like the Bills dominated the Chiefs that game. Chiefs lead the playoff series 4-2. Last year they played in the divisional round. It was 27-24, close game. And if you go to 2022, Chiefs won in the divisional round as well, but it was 42-36 in overtime. So we're going to expect a really close game today. Chiefs are favored by 1.5, and the over/under is 48.5. So, Greg, who you like in this one and why?
Listen, Patrick Mahomes this is his era. This is like Tom Brady of our era. I am not picking against Pat Mahomes. He has 2 X factors going in his favor: the referees and Taylor Swift. That man is not losing in the AFC Championship game. Go with the Chiefs. The Bills are going to put up a good fight, but this is his era, man. He's going on the path to the 3-peat, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
I mean, it's hard to argue the way they've been playing all season. Justin, who do you think wins and why?
You know what? I really hate Patrick Mahomes talk because this guy's like a spoiled brat. He got everything handed to him, and then he's just like, oh, I'm the greatest quarterback. You ain't the greatest quarterback of all time. You didn't break it through the 6th round on a bad Pats team. You didn't get to the Super Bowl 9 times and win 7 of them. You a fool. But anyways, I'm going to go with the Chiefs anyways. Because I know Black Magic Voodoo is at foot here, and I'm not going to mess with that shit, and I'm just going to go with it.
I was waiting for him to say, and that's why they're losing today. But, yeah, I guess not. All right, Fred, who do you think wins?
Listen, man, the Chiefs are going to 3-peat. Chiefs. Mahomes, greatest quarterback ever. Andy, no, stop. If he 3-peats, he's the best ever, bro.
He's the 3rd greatest quarterback ever. And Montana had a harder road than he had.
He did. But
Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches ever. Listen, Mahomes all day. I always pick him on fantasy teams. All day, Mahomes. Let's go.
It gets tiring in football when you get these teams that just keep winning. And I feel like, Mahomes is a good QB, but I feel like he's in that Brady category where he's just in the right team at the right time. Andy Reid can plug and play whoever the hell he wants, and they perform. But with that said, maybe this is a little fandom speaking, but I'm going to go with the Bills today. I feel like the Bills, this is their time, finally. And plus, I kind of want to see a team to get in the mix that's never won the Super Bowl before. But I think the Bills have been knocking on the door for quite a while. And I think this is going to be finally their day today. And LeDuc agrees with me, so I'm not even lone wolf.
Wow. Oh, my God. You got LeCook? LeCook is agreeing with you and Greg? Oh, Jesus.
LeCoop. So the LeCoop is going for the Bills today. Just feel like, that's just going to be, again, it's just, there's something in the air for Buffalo. Josh Allen's been playing lights out all season long. I was impressed with how they, even though they made a big deal about Mark Andrews dropping that 2-point conversion. By the way, I want to say this, though, real quick on that, because we were talking about earlier this week. That sucked that he dropped it, but how come we're not killing Harbaugh like we killed Pete Carroll when we decided not to run the ball with Marshawn Lynch and throw the football? You got Derrick Henry. You brought him in the offseason. Why don't you just hand that ball off and let that man get that 2-point conversion for you? That don't make no sense.
I'm with you on that, but it's fucking Mark Andrews. He's one of the best tight ends in the game. You got to catch that ball, man.
That was a perfect play call because you knew they were looking for Derrick Henry. Right? Yeah. The ball hits you in the hand. If the ball hits you in your hands, you got to catch that motherfucker.
Yeah, agreed. But just like earlier this season, and again, it's not the same comparison because Barkley's not a receiver; he's a running back. But earlier this year, Barkley was in this kind of situation where they threw the football late in the game and he dropped it, and everyone beat him up for it.
I remember that.
But just like I said then, it's the same thing. He should have never been in that position. I know they've been looking for Derrick Henry, but everyone's going to look for Derrick Henry. But guess what? You still can't stop him. That didn't make no sense to me.
But Mark Andrews also had that big ass fumble too.
That he did. He
just
did.
had an overall very bad game.
He did have a bad game, but like I said, I just think, we beat Pete Carroll up for years over not running the ball with Marshawn Lynch when you're right there at the goal line. I feel like the same should be said with Harbaugh when you have Derrick Henry and he's right there sniffing the goal line, like you just give a man the ball.
Or just keep that bitch, right? Just
Right.
real Lamar Jackson, keep that bitch.
Keep the stakes down in that situation. Like anything can happen when the ball's in the air. Not much is happening when you hand the ball off. It's there. It's either a fumble, he's getting in or not. Feel like that's where you should. You brought him in the offseason for what? For moments like this. Like that's what you did.
But Mark Andrews is his most reliable target, his favorite receiver. The ball
I agree. It was set up. It was set up nice.
It was
it was there.
I would agree with you if the pass was like over his head or this way, but it hit him in his hands. That's what kills me. Like it was right here. Just hug it. Fall backwards.
I wish I was a true Buffalo or Baltimore fan, going to the playoffs every year and just being so close.
We're not though, Freddie. We're Jets fans.
We're not.
We don't know what playoffs feel like.
Wait. He said it. He's a Jets fan still.
By heart.
He's a Jets fan still.
By heart. See, I got my Knicks jersey shirt on.
I know. I know how it feels. I know how it feels.
Let's call it what it is.
That's all the Dolphins
My
did.
boy Jason has been having a tough offseason. We have been talking about the offseason, coaching changes and everything. But, Tyreek Hill pissed off. Jimmy Butler in Miami pissed off. Something's going on in Miami, bro. I don't know what it is, but
South Beach
pissed off.
South Beach looking all pretty and crispy down.
People been wondering why I've been in a bad mood. Like, check my teams. We all just in a bad. It's just been
Everybody's pissed off in Miami right now.
It's the weather, bro. We ain't used to this cold. That's what it is.
Tyreek is like, I should have never left. Yeah, you dumbass. You would have had like 2 more rings.
Yeah, you're whiny. Listen, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'll just say this. Tyreek Hill, one of the best receivers in the league, but the bottom line is you're a fucking liability in the red zone, period. You're about a 5'4" midget when it comes to the red zone, and I remember the Bills and the KC game, both times we were close, we were down the red zone, and then motherfucker dropping passes. So please, shh your mouth and catch balls, bro, period. All right,
just like Mark Andrews should have caught that ball too, Coop. Just saying.
Well, we don't have Derrick Henry, so there we go with that. All right, let's finish things up for our final championship weekend. We got our boy Fantasy Jesus in the house because it is Sunday, of course. We gotta bring church to you. So let's bring Fantasy Jesus in to bless your DFS lineups for the final time.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters. Good morning, TSS family, and welcome to the championship week. Let's get it started with Jaden Daniels, and he's been using that VR set to get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles in their third matchup of the year. But guess what? Jaden Daniels has performed well in both matchups, win or loss. That's why I feel like he's a lock this week. Another guy's performed in both a win or a loss was Saquon Barkley. He ate up Washington's defense even late in the year when Washington started to get good. I look for him to be another lock as your running back this week. Then we get to the receiver side. We're going to stick with Xavier Worthy in this matchup. I think the Chiefs are going to need a little something over the top, Uncle Rico, over the mountains and into the hands of an Xavier Worthy, somebody who can speedy his way to the end zone with that 4.2 speed. I'm looking for him to have a big day. And then I'm also looking for his stablemate Travis Kelce to keep up the 7 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown performance he had last week into this week and be a tight end extraordinaire for you. Then finally, we're going to finish it off with that KC defense. One thing we know about Josh Allen, he is go for broke. And while I will be hoping and praying for Josh Allen and the Bills to win, I do think the Chiefs have his number in the playoffs. And more importantly, the Chiefs defense have his number in the playoffs. That is it for us as 5 picks for your DFS lineups this week. May your lineups be blessed.
I'm not sure who to start this week. Trust in your Savior.
May your lineups.
Changes this week.
May your lineups be blessed indeed. A I'll say Justin throwing a promo out there for the Millie Goats. I'm sure they appreciate that.
You seen that? I was like, what the hell?
You can check out the Millie Goats podcast right here on that Sports Podcast Network.
Yo, not for nothing, guys. We could have had a whole show about coaching changes in the offseason and shit.
Yeah.
And GM changes. We could have talked all about that.
We could have, but we didn't. We're going to talk some more. Obviously, we'll be coming to you guys as the free agency frenzy begins. We'll do a couple shows then, and then obviously for the draft. So you'll still be seeing us around as the season before the season starts, and then obviously, always fun. Our summer tour will take place. So just make sure you check us out in the summer. We go through every team, break down all the teams as well. So just stick and stay with TSS. We'll get you ready for the season next year. And then don't forget, obviously, Super Bowl Sunday morning. Wake up with us for our Super Bowl special. We'll give you great ways to eat, great ways to entertain your guests. We're going to obviously break down the big game. We got some great guests coming in as well. We'll talk about both teams. And we'll play some games. We'll have a lot of good fun. It's the best way to get yourself ready for the Super Bowl. Make it a tradition. I know it's been one of my favorites now as we started to do that. All right, guys. Well, once again, this is that time. Thank you guys so much for joining us this season. Appreciate all of you who put in your questions and tuned in with us all year long. Hopefully, we gave you some good advice. Fred probably gave you some bad, so sorry about that. But other than that, we appreciate all of you for joining us this year. And don't forget, like I said, the Super Bowl. And then after that, you'll see us for the free agent frenzy. And then, of course, for the draft as well. All right. Well, sayonara for the season. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much to my co-hosts. And, of course, Brian and Eric and Ariel, everyone who's contributed to the show. Just want to give you a big thank you. All right. Well, we appreciate you. Good luck if your teams are in it.
Go Commanders.
And have a great championship week. We appreciate you all, and we, for the season, are out.